Hi, this is Everett, Everett's Watercolors, and I'm broadcasting. This is Simply Drawing with Everett tonight at 7:30 p.m. And glad to see you all coming aboard to watch my show. I'm broadcasting live from my studio. I'm on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and I'll be on Instagram later on. I'm in my studio with my wife Gloria tonight,
Hello, everyone.
and she'll be monitoring the broadcast and also the chat room. Chat room's live. If you have any questions or comments, give me a question, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. All right, tonight I'm going to do a drawing, which I do every Thursday evening at 7:30, and this tonight's going to be. If you've seen one of these before, this is a Rubik's cube, and I thought it'd be interesting to try. Anyone's had a Rubik's cube, it's got 6 colors and has 27 squares on it. And of course, you rotate it around and make all kinds of combinations with it. Okay, so I'm going to set that up tonight, and we're going to draw that. So let me go over to my drawing table and let me get started. Okay, I've got the display over here. I took a photograph of it. It's sitting right here on my left. That's what I'm going to draw tonight. And my material I'm going to use, I've got a 2B pencil, graphite pencil. I'm going to also draw the darker lines in with a Sharpie ink pen. And I've got my little kneaded eraser for erasing the construction lines. Now, part of the challenges of drawing a three-dimensional item here is that there's what they call vanishing lines, and if you got off to a direction, there's different. For example, there's a vanishing line here and here. There's also one coming this way and this way. I'm going to check my. I've got to check my focus here so it doesn't go on. Let me hit the focus. Turn that off. Apply. Okay. Okay. All right. Yes, I took off the autofocus. It was making it blink back and forth on me. So there's each one of these sides has a different vanishing point for each side. And of course, when you turn the direction of a separate set of blocks, that they have a set of vanishing points. So that makes it even a little more challenging to get the right angles. So I'm going to show you how I start. I'm going to start at the bottom here, the bottom two square sections. And I'm going to start that first line. I'm going to start right here in the middle and make it big enough so you can see it. Then I'm going to darken it in with the black lines. Okay, now I want to get an angle, and that's it's about 40, almost 45, not quite 45 degrees, but it goes out about like that. And this one over here goes out. Now I don't have the vanishing point, but they're almost it's almost parallel. But I'm gonna make a parallel for discussions tonight. And I'm going to break this up into 3 cubes here. So there, I've got this. Look at this side here already drawn in. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in. And I got to bring it up a little more. So I got to get this one. So that's why I got to have some construction lines here. Make that a little bit bigger. Okay. So this is this side right here. I've just drawn in these six squares right here. Now let's go off to the other side. I'll start at the bottom. This angle over here. Let's see. It's almost 45 degrees. So it's almost another 45 degrees. We'll start off this direction. And you can see this side here is a little bit short. This is a longer side, so it's a little bit shorter. So we'll have to compensate a little bit for that. Let's try this up here and about there. We're approximating the size of those squares. And this angle here now is almost parallel with this bottom. And this square here, these squares here will also go in. So I'm roughing those squares in. All right, so I got this bottom section over here with the 6 squares here. All right, now let's get the top. Now, if I look at this just about goes across the top here. almost intersects with that side. So let's estimate that right there. And then I'm going to come up with a vertical. And this comes up to a vertical. So this is a white box here, which is square right here. We'll put that in. And then I can go from there. And now it intersects this section right here. Will come across. And that goes vertical right here. Put that in. Now let's go to the other side. So this goes across. It intersects about right there. I'm getting about there. I might have to change that a little bit. That's a little bit wide. So how do I compensate for that? I bring this in. This has to be a little bit shorter here. So let me bring this in. So now I'm compensating now for the size of these squares on the side. I got to bring this and make this a little shorter. About right there, and this has got to come in right here. Okay. All right, now I got it. I had to compensate for that one. All right. So now I can erase this line. A little construction line here was a little bit off, made it a little bit too long. Okay. So this is going to be, tonight's going to be an approximate. This angle here goes, I'm estimating this angle here. And this angle here almost hits that intersection and it comes across here. I got this little triangle here. This is the short side here too. Be a little bit square, more square here, more square. And it has an angle, goes off this way. This back line almost goes horizontal with the paper, almost horizontal with the paper. And this back side goes over here. Let's see how we did on this one. Let's see. That's pretty good. All right, that turned out pretty good. Now let's go up here to the side. Where this box is about right here. This angle goes in here. And that side goes about right there, just about right there. Okay, then I got these. The top line goes up here. Let's take a look at that. I almost got all the squares done. Okay, now I'm going to check my sizes now. This one here might be a little bit too large, so let's bring this down. Make this a little more square. This one comes in here. Bring it in here a little bit more. That just shortens that up a little bit, so this gets a little bit smaller here. This would come down here a little bit more. And like that one. It's just a little bit bigger there. Okay, it's starting to look like the dimensions I'm looking at there. This comes down. And I got to get this squared away just a little more. This comes over. This comes over. I'm trying to get the proportions looking a little bit better. This one is going to come in here. Okay. Make this a little bit smaller. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and put in the dark marks now. Okay, the dark lines, which is defines it. So there's a. We'll draw almost each one individually. This one comes down here, and this box goes around the corner. This meets the top, and then there's this one here goes underneath that box on the top. On the other side of this top square now, I'm going to come up here, and it'll come down. Okay, now just the bottom portion. And this one here. So each individual squares, all individual squares it can turn. So separating those with a black line that I can see. So I got this face here pretty well done. Now let's do this side on the left over here. This side here at the corner. You can see that. Then it comes down. And it comes at an angle. And this comes down. And this goes back. That gets hidden by the top. It comes down about right here. And then it goes a little bit in the back of that, shows. And that comes down. Okay. Now the top portion, I can start with the center again. Now I'll find this edge here. It's about in the center, almost not quite, a little bit off center. Comes up. This goes up, and it comes across this way, and it's inside there. So I got that one pretty well marked. Let's get this front one here. This on the right side. This comes over. It overlaps this in the front here. Over halfway, so it comes over here. Let's get this other one. Let's get this other one over here on the left. It comes over, and it just about cuts that in half. Okay, now the last edge is this one here. This top edge over at the top. This goes back. That comes down about right there. That goes back. That comes down here. So I'm estimating where that's intersecting with the block below. Now I can mark the line in. Mark the line in this way. And I get this line in. Okay. Now these aren't that visible because of the angle I'm looking at, but they're close enough to what I need to have. Because next thing I'm going to do is add the color in. But this part here, getting the construction lines, is very important. Okay. All right. So, and I'm going to erase the construction lines. I got some extra marks out here I erase off on the outside edge. And I think I pretty well got that. Okay, so that's the outline that I did of the Rubik's Cube. Now I'm going to go ahead and start putting the colors in. Now what I'm using is I'm using the Holbein color pencils, which comes in sets of 24. But they also come up to sets of 150. So I'm going to use my set I have here that I have broken out. And I'm going to use, let's start with the green. I'm going to use 2 colors of green. Now I'm going to follow the picture here that we have I drew. So this starts out, this is going to be fresh green. Start out with a light green here. And this one down here. There's another green one over here. Then up the top, I've got a top that's green, the green top up here. Then another green. And the back corner over here. Okay. Now what I think I'll do is I'll darken it up. I'm going to use forest green to darken that green up a little bit. So I'm going to go in here and add a little more color. So I started with a lighter green, but then I'm going to go ahead and add a little more color. So I started with a light green. I'm going to add a little bit of dark green to that to make it a little bit darker to almost match the photograph. as close as I want to right now. I mean, I could match it pretty close, but this is close enough. So I'm coloring in the colored squares on the Rubik's Cube. And the thing about this Rubik's, you know, of course, anyone's ever played with one of these or worked with one of these, you know, you can change the variables on this by turning them around. You get another set of colors just by. I had a good time here setting up this display of what colors I wanted to show on my sample here. Okay, that's the green. Now let's go to the yellow. Let's get the yellow in there. There's only 3 yellows I see on the cube. There's one here at the top middle. This happens to be dandelion. This is dandelion yellow. Beautiful color. Then there's another one up here in the middle, up the top, up here. And there's one on this far corner over here on the top, on the far corner back, the back far corner. Okay, there's 3 yellows. All right, now we'll go to the, let's get the blue in. I'll start with a light blue. I'll start here on this side here. There's a blue on this side, and this is in shadow, but I'm going to go ahead and darken. I'm going to at least get it darkened in. 2 blue. There's a blue one right here on this front corner. So I'm not only having a demonstration here of having fun playing with the pencils and the Sharpie ink pen. I'm having fun here with the colored pencil. And the Holbein colored pencil is probably the best colored pencils I've used. I mean, I've used a lot of colored pencils over the years. I've been drawing and painting for over 30 years. And I've used a lot of colored pencils. And this is probably one of the best ones I have ever used. It's so smooth. It blends the colors so nicely. And the nice thing about the lead doesn't break easily. I mean, I've had colored pencils where you press on them and the lead snaps. In fact, even sharpening them sometimes they'll break on you. But I've not had a real major problem with this pencil here. It has sharpened, and I can put pressure on it, and it does not break. And I'm sure if you pressed hard enough, you could break it, but it really is very, very durable. And the nice thing about it is the colors just spread like butter. Now I'm just doing a dry blending here. I also have Holbein has a blender called MELTZ, which can blend the color just like watercolor. And if I have time here, I may color in a couple of these just to use the MELTZ, just to show you some of the results. I'm just using regular white sketch paper. I'm not using watercolor paper. This is white sketch paper that I'm using as my paper product. I'm drawing on. Okay, that's the blue. Make sure I got all the blue ones. Blue, 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 blue. Okay, now I got to put the. I think next one is magenta. This one on the corner up here is magenta, and this pencil is called magenta. A beautiful color. It's kind of a reddish purple. Now, in the watercolor brand used to be magenta. Now it's called the quinacridone violet. They've changed the name on that, but it's the same. It's the same color. And these colors are very compatible with my watercolor set. The colors are the same as I use in my palette. So I could use colored pencils along with my watercolors. It works very nicely. I've got these magenta on this far front corner over here, this front face on the back. So I'm just blending, I'm just filling the squares in with a colored pencil. And I'm layering it about, layer it once and I do another layer on top just to kind of blend it in a little darker. And this one down here has also got a little magenta in this far corner here next to the blue. There we go. Okay, now I've got one more. I got the white one I leave alone. Then I've got a couple red ones. So I'm going to use the red. And I've got it's just called Siren Red. which is really a nice, real nice deep red. And there's one up here at the top. Not much different than magenta because it's a red, violet, and red are very close together. And there's one back here in the corner here. Okay, and there's a white one there, white one there, white one there. Okay, now black. Also got a black pencil. The Holbein color pencil comes in black also. So now I can go in now and I can fill in the section between each one of these square areas is black. So this side's here, I'll fill the black in. And there's a black side in this corner here. And I can go in and darken in I can use the black pencil now to go in and darken in the area between. So there, I think I've covered all the squares, and now I've covered all the colors. Okay. All right. So that's right now that's a demonstration of drawing a Rubik's cube, and I had to use this area here. If I went off and drew this, this would have a vanishing point out here, somewhere off, probably off the page here. These would come together, and there's a vanishing point here that goes back. So these squares back here in the back are smaller than the ones up in front. So there's a little bit of dimension there as far as that cubist goes. So to draw something like this, you got to get the angles of the bottom, the angles of the side, the angles of the top, and you got the top squares on top of here. You got to get those angles right, and then they got to be proportionally. This side is a larger side because it's facing me more. So these squares are a little bit longer, a bit bigger than this there over here, and this one's facing me. So these squares are bigger than the one on the side over here. Okay. So that makes it look like the object in the photograph. Okay. You hand me the water pen over there. This is the MELTZ Blender. It's called. I'm going to use the MELTZ Blender here with the water pen. This is a water pen, which is a pen just filled with water and self-contained. And I have these products also on my website, everettswatercolors.com. And I'll just use a little tray here. And this is MELTZ Blender is made by Holbein. It's a for color pencil blender, and this is an oil-based pencil, and this is water-based fluid here. And let me pick a color. Let me pick the green. Let's put the green one right here in front. Let's blend. And what this does is blends the colors together. There, it looks just like watercolor. Boom. And let's do this. Let's do this one up here. You can see how it blends that color together right there. It takes that color, which was a line, and puts it together in a nice smooth color. Let me bring it up. I'll bring up a little. Now it's still wet, but I'll bring it up a little bit closer to the camera. This was the MELTZ Blender here, and I put the MELTZ Blender on that one right there. Okay, so I could have a little bit of fun with that one. This is the red one. I can get this. I get the. This is the red purple one. Down there on the bottom, very pretty. And I think probably let's get the yellow one here. The yellow one will really show up too. I'm having too much fun painting this in. So that almost acts just like a watercolor. Okay, let me put the top back on that. So with the water pen and with a bottle of MELTZ Blender, we'll be able to blend that watercolor pencil in. And these products are available on everettswatercolors.com. And I just showed you a sample of some of the pencils I have here in my pencil set, my colored pencil set from Holbein. Okay, do we have any questions? Okay. If you have questions, if you see this broadcast later on the replay or after it gets released, then if you have any questions, just put it in the comments section, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So tonight, what I did was I drew in the Rubik's cube, and I colored it in, and I used this photograph over here that I took in my display area with my own camera, and I took a camera. And so let's go back to the main. Let's go back to the main menu. So there was Everett's. Everett had another good time. I had a little bit of fun tonight with the Rubik's cube, and I try to play with this. It takes a little bit of concentration, a little bit of play, but learn how to put this thing together. If you go on the internet, you can learn also other techniques to use with this. But the best thing about it here, I thought, was be a nice example for drawing not just a cube, but a cube that you can move different parts of the cube into different angles. So it was a little more complicated than a pure cube, and each one of those cubes are also different sizes. So that's a good exercise to draw and to get the right dimension and the right perspective on the squares. And then also to practice with your colored pencils to color it in. And there's many combinations here you could do to find, okay? Many combinations. All right, so I'll be back again next week at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursday with Simply Drawing with Everett. And I'll be back on Thursday at 2 p.m. with Everett's Watercolors. I'll have a watercolor demonstration. And on the weekend, I put out a little demonstration on anyone can draw with one line only, and it comes out on a Sunday release of a video. So until next week, you all stay safe and have a nice spring day out there. The weather's beautiful, so enjoy yourself. And I hope you get a chance to do a little drawing, and you can share those with me on my Facebook page, Everett's Watercolors Art Group on Facebook. So until then, you stay safe. I'll see you on my next video. Bye.